Hello, welcome to Crafts for Kids. I am Jan, and today's craft project is inspired by autumn leaves in fact. It's one of my favorite times of year. I love to look at the trees with those gorgeous colors. The leaves glow, when the sun hits them. And they are beautiful to look at and also great fun to craft with. You can pick up some leaves, the one that you really like, and make a collage with it. And in the art world, collage means a collection of something that's glued to a background. So here I found a huge oak leaf. That's for the body. I call this a leaf person who likes to dance. And small leaves for the legs, and small leaves for the arms, and then a contrast color for the head. I think that's an aspen leaf, not sure. And it wears a very jaunty hat out of a small maple leaf. And in this hand is an even tinier maple leaf. I think it likes to dance and collect tiny maple leaves. Another idea is a moose. I do adore mooses. They're kind of funny looking to me, but in a good way. The antlers are made with maple leaves, small ones. The body and the head are these teardrop shapes you can see. And then very small leaves for the ears, tiny leaf for the tail. And then these are a leaf that I cut in half because I thought they were too fat for legs. And I glued those down. The eyes are wiggle eyes. You can also draw them with a marker if you wish. Another animal, and this one's in the air, is a bird. And this uses 3 leaves of the same shape, the teardrop. A large one for the body, a medium-sized one for the wing, a little maple leaf on top of the wing to add a bit of color, and the smallest one for the head. I did cut off the point because I wanted to add a beak, and I cut a beak out of a darker leaf. It's okay to cut the leaves any shape you like. And then for the tail, these are pine needles. I thought it made a nice flowing tail. So that's glued. They're all glued on. And the last one is a butterfly. And this is made out of basically 4 basic leaves. And I found this tiny little leaf for the middle. And then the antenna are the stems of a maple leaf. So those 4 ideas can inspire you to do something like this, or something a little bit different, even a lot different, whatever you like. Now the materials you'll need for this are autumn leaves, and we'll press them flat, because then they're easy to glue down. So here are some that I found. We'll need a background. It can be construction paper, it can be cardboard, it can be cardstock, which is what I've used here. We need a small pair of scissors if we want to trim something, a marker if you wish to make eyes that way, or wiggle eyes. These are 10 millimeter. Toothpick can come in handy. In case one little corner is not glued down, you can dip it into glue and then just tuck it underneath the leaf. White glue works well here. And then I'm going to put these to the side here. We do have to prepare the leaves. Now, if it's raining when you collect your leaves and they're wet, like it is today, you'll want to dry them off just gently with a paper towel. Just gently press on it to get some of the moisture off. Then take the leaf and put it either between a few pages of newspaper, or my favorite thing is a phone book. Look at all these pages. I've really tucked all these leaves. Just tuck it inside like that. Skip a few pages, put another leaf in. I mean, I did the whole book like this. And then press it with a big heavy book on top. And the good thing about this is that you can tuck it into a corner. I let them dry and flatten for about a week. I did test 3 days, and the leaves did look flat. But when I started to work with them, they curled up a bit. That's not the end of the world. I mean, you might just have to press them. But that's the idea of how you prepare them. When they're nice and flat, you can glue them really easily to a background. And I'll do a demonstration for you. This I'm going to make Okay, I've got the white for the background. I'm going to make a fox head. And with this, I've chosen a beautiful maple leaf. I'm going to cut off the stem, and I save it because it could be really good for the antenna, like in a butterfly. So here's the fox head, and I'm going to glue these leaves behind for ears. So that's the first thing I'll do, is I put some glue on. And the leaves are a little bit fragile after they're dried. So I just, hopefully this glue comes out. I might have to shake it. Ah. And if it doesn't glue, if the glue doesn't come out, try sticking a toothpick in. Because sometimes glue dries on the tip, and you have to pull it off. Okay, hopefully this works. Take a bit of glue and then glue a nice amount near the edge. See, I'm following the silhouette, the edge, and then a little bit in the center. You don't need too much, but you do want to get a little bit at the tips if possible. And then pick it up, and if you need a little boost to pick it up, a toothpick does work really well. And so I'm going to flatten this right here. And now I want to put the leaves, so I'll do the back. See how the color difference? The green? I think these are from a blueberry bush. It's amazing. You need all sorts of shapes and sizes because it'll give you more options. Now I'm going to tuck this ear under here before the glue dries. There's a nice ear. And I'll glue the other leaf. And tuck it under. I want the point to be at the top. And I want it to stick out just enough so it looks like a fox. Now press this down. It's a good pressing. And then I'm going to make a nose by cutting. I found this dark leaf. I thought it would make a good nose. So I'm going to cut around like this and make the leaf shape into a nose. And there's a nose, so glue that down. Put a little glue all right here, because I know that's where I want the nose. And you can see the fox is starting to come together. And then I think I'll add 2 wiggle eyes for the eyes. So I'll glue the back, I'll glue a little dot. It's easier to put the glue on the leaf if you know where it's going to go than trying to put it on the back of a wiggle eye and then turn it over. So this is just a little tip on gluing a wiggle eye. Sometimes they're self-adhesive. So there is the fox. I'll turn it towards the camera if that helps. So happy autumn. Have fun crafting with leaves and looking at leaves. Pick the ones that you like. Thank you for watching. Please join us for the next show. We'll have an entirely different craft. Goodbye. Hello, welcome to Crafts for Kids. I'm Jann, and today's project is designed for Halloween. Halloween is kind of spooky and so much fun. It's exciting to dress up in costumes and go trick-or-treating. And with today's project, you can create your very own mask. We have several ideas for you. These are made from paper plates. This is a lion, and the lion is used with a paper plate going this direction. The center is painted and the outside is painted too and then fringed. Now the eyes, for the shape, you can trace around a bottle or a coin, and an adult can cut them out with a craft knife, or I can show you how to cut it out circles with pointed scissors. It's a little bit tricky, so I'm really all for the adult doing it. To hold up the mask, we have a handle of a large popsicle stick that's glued on with lots of hot glue, low temp of course. Another idea is a sweet puppy. Now the puppy can be any color. I've chosen blue here. He has cheeks, he has a tongue hanging out, and he has floppy ears. These are made with an extra piece of paper, construction paper. And then here, this is slit underneath, the paper plate is slit right under the tongue because I wanted the tongue to stick out just a little bit. All this to the side, and you see there's a bit of, it adds a bit of dimension. But that is truly optional. The lion was not cut at all, so you don't have to, it's just if you want to. So it's slit and overlapped about 1 inch and glued with hot glue. And then you clamp it with a clothespin to let it set in place. These are strips of paper, the floppy ears that have been painted on both sides. And then I glued them to the back of the plate and then put a tiny little clothespin right here to hold it down for a while so it looks all floppy. The last one is a dinosaur in crazy colors. And I'll show you, this one is a little bit more complicated. These are strips of paper that have been cut into triangles. And I painted the front, and it does make it curl a bit. If you don't want them to curl, you would paint the back as well, and then they'll stick up straight. So that's a painting tip for you. And this one is cut in the middle all the way to the center of the paper plate, glued with hot glue, overlapped about 1 inch. And here's a side view. It gives a little bit of dimension to it. That's absolutely optional. So to make these, you're going to need an inexpensive paper plate. And the reason I like it is because you can fold it. You'll see that we'll fold these sometimes to draw the other side of it. For the puppy, we'll need construction paper or cardstock, which is what I've used here, a permanent marker to help draw the face, a pencil if you want to draw it first with pencil, little tiny paper clips for the puppy ears if you do that, scissors, different kinds. It could be blunt nose or sharp if you want. Fat popsicle sticks. These are about 6 inches long, inexpensive. They work really well. Just enough, just wide enough to hold. You'll need a brush or two to paint with, and then something to put the paint on. And I'm showing you, this is what I started with. I happen to like small paper plates. And this I've used again and again because the acrylic paint dries and then you can put more paint over it. Plus, I like the way it looks. It can almost be a Christmas ornament. Hot glue, low temp. This is for gluing the slit in the paper plate if you decide to do that. And water to clean your brushes with. And a paper towel is always handy to kind of, keep the water from going everywhere. Now I will do a demo for you. I will start with the lion. So I'll set these aside. Now remember, we're starting with a plain white paper plate. And what I've done here is the nose. I'm going to put this right here so I can compare them. The nose, the center of the nose is really the center of the plate. So that's a good starting point for you. And then below that, I do the tip of the nose. And then here, I'll draw 2 dots. So that's the center, 2 dots. And then connect those dots to make a triangle. And then I will start painting that. I will show you that in the next step. But first of all, I want to show you options for the mane. Okay, I did paint these by hand. This took quite a bit of time and it's a little bit fiddly, but I enjoy doing it. You might prefer something else. Another easier option that also looks good is to paint the whole outside of the plate one color. The colors here are sort of a cocoa color, a reddish brown, and a yellow, kind of a gold yellow, but any yellow will work. So that's for the mane, the darker brown. Or you can do stripes using the browns and the golds. And now as an option, I will cut these just at random. This is another way to make a mane. See, I'm not trying to follow anything. It's totally random. And then the fun thing about this is that you can lift them up, because it's fun to add 3 dimensions to this slut. So that makes a nice mane also. And here are the multicolors. Again, I will slice this. I will cut these at random. And it still is another fun look and much easier than the original one I'm showing you. But you can choose. This is fun too. So there's 2 and 3 ways to make the mane. Now, I will show you, I've started painting this. This is the brown. This is the yellow, which is really a gold yellow. And then this color is mixed between the 2 colors. And I'll show you right here. So these are the 2 colors, the gold or the yellow, the brown. I'll put a little bit of on this crazy plate that already has colors. I actually have done this always because it's just so much fun. And then take a brush and mix those 2 together. And then you get this intermediate color. So you don't have to buy another color. And you know that these colors are going to work together. And that's this section right here. This is the yellow. And I will demonstrate one of these. If you do want to do something like this, hold it up with your finger and kind of skip around and just paint them. And that's how you do that. It does take a bit of patience. So that's, and then I'm going to take some of the paint off the brush and then clean the brush like that. And I always store the brush horizontally. I never keep it down in the water because that way you save the quality of the brush. So that is the lion. The next one will be the puppy. Now the puppy can also work well in white, or it can be any color you like. So to start the puppy, I'll put this here for reference. First thing I'll do is paint the ears, and I've already done this. These are about 2 inches across by 6 inches long. I know some people like to know measurements. I'm one of those people. But don't paint all the way because you want to glue this right here, and the glue will adhere better. So those are the leaves, the ears, we'll set those aside. Now this puppy is started with the back of the paper plate, and that's what we'll start with. So I'm going to draw 2 eyes. Again, you can trace around if you want to place them like this and then trace around. That gives you a good starting point. Or you can just sketch it however you like. And then cut those eyes out. And here's how you do it with sharp pointed scissors. You can either use the point of the scissors, be very careful doing this. This is what you do, because you have to get started. This circle. And then you cut around like this. It's better to have the circle be big and too small, because you want to be able to see, you know, when you hold it up and you want to scare somebody with it. You want to see who you're scaring. And that's how you cut it out, like that with a sharp pair of scissors. Now, to draw this nose, we want a nose underneath. I'm just doing it in pencil first, and then I'll show you with a marker. So here's the nose. It's a triangle. It's below the eyes. And then here's the gel. It's just 2 fat U shapes. And then a tongue, like that. Now, you can paint them like this, or if you want, you can slit this paper right under here and then cut out the leaf, not the leaf, the tongue, and the gel. We're going to do the other side. Making the slit does help you cut this out. And then overlap underneath about 1 inch. And you'll see it helps the tongue stick out like that. So that's that. And go back to this. See what I mean about it looks good in white. He's also a very cute puppy. I'm not slitting this one, I'm just leaving it like this. I do want to do cheeks for this puppy. And I love to use a cotton swab to make the cheeks because it's very easy to make something round with them. Chocolate brown and a light blue, that's what I've used here. Cotton swab, I just dip it straight up in the paint and I'm put a cheek here. See how easy it is to make a round shape? I like that a lot. Now, to attach the ears, this over here, what I do, you see they're going to be quite stiff. I'm going to glue them and then clip them while the glue dries. So this is glued. I'm just pretending that I'm gluing because I don't have an outlet for it. And another paper clip. And then after they dry, I'm going to attach a little paper clip like this. And just let this stay for a while. And I'm going to hold this up so you can get an idea. See how you get those floppy ears? I think it's so cute. And then I use lots of glue, hot glue, low temp, to the back to hold it, give you something to hold. And I like to put this in the center of the back of the plate because I think it offers more stabilize. I think it stabilizes better. So that's the puppy. Goodbye, puppy. The last one is a dinosaur. And I've chosen 4 colors: orange, purple, light green, and a beautiful dark blue green. Now this one is a little bit trickier to do. So what I do is the first step is to take the paper plate, put it right here for reference, and fold it in half. And I'm really concerned about this right here. I want a nice sharp crease. Now drawing this, I'm looking at this, and this center is a guide for how you draw it. You can see it's about 2 inches over here, so I put a dot, and I see it's about 1/3 of the way down from the top, so I put another dot there. And then I do this with pencil first, and I'm just going to connect these in a curve. That's sort of it. And that gives you a setup. Now, is that enough? Now, I think it should be a little bit lower. So always feel, it's always okay to correct your line if you're not quite happy with it. Now I'm going to take this permanent marker and I'm going to draw over the line. And I'm going to use a line that I corrected. And that sets you up for the eye because the eye is on a slant. Now it gives me a spot. I notice that the edge of the eye comes about near this embossed edge. Your plate may not have that, but it's sort of halfway from here to here. So that's the eye. Now I'm going to cut it out with scissors and show you how I do this for the other side. So I'm going to hold this up so you can see it this way. So that's the start of it. Now I'm going to cut this out and cut this out. Again, it's always wonderful an adult will cut this out with on a craft knife. I keep going around. This is a little bit tricky. And there you have one eye cut out. And what's good about this is that you can fold this now. I'm going to put this down and then trace the eye onto the other side and then cut that one out. And that gives you an idea, once that's cut out, it gives you an idea of where the other line is. So for the swap out, I have that sort of started for you. So this is the other side. And then I cut it out to draw the other lines. Now here it is, cut out. And I've started painting, I'll put this down to compare it. The orange, I always do small areas first, and because they dry quickly. That's one reason. And then I like to do the purple. Now, because I've made that slit, I overlap it, and then I draw where the overlap is. Again, this is optional. And I don't paint that area because I'm going to glue it. And the glue will stick better if there's no paint on it. So then I draw the triangle here, and you can kind of see, you start to get the idea of what gets drawn and what gets painted. This is going to be the blue-green. So I'll paint some of that. Right here. It's at the top, and it's echoed on the rim. So that gets all painted. This is a triangle, really. I mean, who knows what dinosaurs look like? I think we have kind of an idea. And this gets painted in that beautiful blue-green too. And then after it's dry, if you want, you can draw purple lines on there. That's an embellishment if you want it. Remember, you can use any colors you like. These are the ones that I wanted to work with. And then clean the brush, and you're ready to do another color. And I just put it like that. Now for these, these triangles at the top, I cut a strip of paper that's about 1.5 inches wide, and it's just it's just the width of the paper. Then I cut it into sections. Then I take each section and cut off the top. So it makes these points. And then I do smaller ones for the back, and then glue this popsicle stick to the back, and then you're all set. So it's great fun to make your own mask, and then you can organize your costume to go with it. You know, they can be your own clothes and the colors you like, a mix of green and purple if you have clothes, those colors, any colors you like. And then you're set to trick or treat in style. So thank you for watching. I hope you have fun making your very own mask. Happy Halloween. Be safe, have lots of fun, and join us next week because we'll have an entirely different craft project. Bye-bye. Hello, welcome to Crafts for Kids. I'm Jann, and today's project is designed for Halloween. Halloween is an eerie time of year, but it is so much fun to dress up in costume, to plan your costume, and then go trick-or-treating, and I love all of that. I also love the idea of Halloween decorations, and that's what this project is centered on. My favorite is Luminarias. Luminary is a Spanish word meaning lit, basically lit. And the old Luminarias were just plain old paper bags that were filled with a couple inches of sand to keep it from falling over, with a real candle inside that was lit. It looked absolutely beautiful. But the candle could catch the bag on fire, so it's kind of dangerous. We're not going to do that today. We can use bags in colors, light colors, and we can light it with an LED tea light. That's safe and it looks beautiful. There are several ideas to decorate your luminarias. You can use markers or paint. I prefer paint because it's stronger and it blocks out the light, so you really see the image better. You can draw a square, trace around a circle, and then draw something in the circle. I did a spider here, painted it with black. Again, here I used black paint. I drew a border. It's a design aspect because I wanted the light to come out of the edges of the bag. And then drew 2 pumpkins and painted around the pumpkins. And painting around them in the art world is called negative space. So I wanted the pumpkins to glow. So I didn't paint them, I painted the space around them. And you can see these bags are sort of lunch bag size. This one is a ghost, again with that unpainted border. If I wanted to do a ghost, I wanted the ghost to light up. You can also do words. A short word is easier than a long word, but here's beware. So you can see, you do have to make it smaller. On this one, I traced around a cookie cutter that was a witch on a broom and then painted in the background. I'll show you how to do that with a cookie cutter. It's pretty straightforward. And then this one, I drew a skull and crossbones. And again, I painted around the image. And then the last one is using orange paint 2 for a simple checkerboard. It can be a geometrics. It doesn't have to be a shape of any kind. That's organic. So what we need are the lunch bags in a light color. We need an LED light, and then paint or a marker, and of course a brush. So I'll show you how to do that. The first thing I will draw is a squirrel. You put that on the bag, center it wherever you would like it, trace around it with a pencil, and then go over it with a marker. I'm doing that for TV. And then triangles at the top to help decorate the bag. And then I'll use some black paint and paint this in. And as I said, you can use a marker, but the black paint is so opaque that it prevents the light from going through. And it's fun to do anyway. It's fun to do a marker too. But you can see through a marker a little bit. See how much fun to draw a shape with a cookie cutter and then paint it in. And I do love squirrels. I think they're great. They're so furry and cute. And it's very quick to do, actually. So you can use luminarias to line a sidewalk, because these really show up at night when it's dark. You can put one on either side of your front door. That would be a pretty welcome for trick-or-treaters. You can tuck one behind a window shade if it's drawn so it's nice and dark. Always use a protective surface underneath. You can see I'm sort of going over the edge here a bit. And you could even put them inside in the dark corner of a room, like on a table. It's kind of a fun accent. So see, this does go pretty quickly. And there you have a squirrel with triangles at the top. Other cookie cutters are a pumpkin, or you can use something that's not even that associated with Halloween. It can be a star. So lots of fun to do. And after they're dry, turn on the tea light. It's kind of hard to see right now. And put it in the bag. If the night is windy, you can put some rocks in there to hold it down. So thank you for watching. I hope you have fun decorating your own luminarias. Have fun making these the day before Halloween, so then it can be a nightlight for your child who could wake up in the morning with this Halloween surprise. They can also look good set on a stair, step by step, and you can alternate the colors. I mean, it would be a fun thing to look at inside the house. I hope you have lots of fun making Halloween decorations. These luminarias are easy to make, they're inexpensive, and there's so much fun to look at, especially in the dark. Happy Halloween, be safe, have fun, and please join us for the next show. It'll be an entirely different craft. Goodbye.